Hello, hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to the intuitive card reading for the week of June. Is it June 8th through 14th? So that's the second, this is the second full week of June. Okay, you guys know what to do. Please like this video. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies and the influences of the week. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Comments down below. I always really appreciate them. What else? Same 3 decks that you guys are familiar with. No surprises there. Shuffled and in a aligned order for this reading. All right, I think that's it, guys. Let's jump right into it because I'm excited to see what is going on this week. All right, we have a need for Midas Miser. Okay, we've gotten this one, I think, in the last couple of readings as well. Entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold. Okay, so we need to capitalize on that. I forget where it ended up on in the reading last time, but it's under need here, so it's telling us that we need to do this. So our soul is calling for us to do this, which is saying, like, our soul is calling for us to use our skills, our talents, and any kind of entrepreneurial thing that you've got going on that maybe you've been thinking about for a while, and to move forward with it because it's going to make you money. It's the Midas Miser in the light is really about using skills, talents, creative abilities that you maybe don't think are needed or you don't think will make money. This is basically saying they will make money. Okay, so I like this green card, money, 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 coming out, you know, the first thing, because it's not under action needed. That would have been a better placement, but it is saying that our soul is asking us to do that. So, you know, this week you're going to be feeling like, you know, that you want to maybe put this into action, and if you do, the money will follow. Maybe not right away. Okay, don't quote me on that. I'm not a financial advisor or, you know, anything like that, but this does feel like a good push and a good omen from the universe saying, like, yeah, you can do it for sure. So I like that. Let's go through the rest of the reading. I mean, does it mean that you might take action on it? Possibly, but you know, that fire in your soul is definitely calling for that. Let's see the rest of the reading and see if there's any indicators that we might for sure. Okay, action needed, persistence. Ooh, this is a good one to get here. So basically this is saying that we are being persistent, that we can't give up, that we continue to do what we're doing, and action needed. All right, so basically, guys, do not give up. Continue to find a different way to do something, okay? Could be related to what I just said, you know, maybe maybe you're into crafts and you try selling it on Etsy and it's not working, and basically being with the persistent card right next to it is basically saying, then if it doesn't work on Etsy, try an art show, try a different way of selling things, try ads to send people to your Etsy page, okay? So this is about not freaking giving up. So yes, it could 100% be connected to that, but it could be anything, okay? Because you need to take action on something. If there is something that you want, do not stop till you get it, okay? This is very interesting because this kind of, I'm going to give like a quick thing about flow and force, okay? We want to be in alignment, right? And so if we continue to do things, sometimes like we get hit by obstacles, sometimes it doesn't feel right within us. This is not what this is talking about. This is saying, I feel like this thing is in alignment with me, and I'm going to create my own path, and I'm going to continue to fight for it until I get it, okay? So you're feeling good about it, but you still might have obstacles. So I think that's where people kind of get mixed up, okay? It's really, guys, about, it always comes down to intuition. If it intuitively feels like it's aligned for you and there's no clear path, it doesn't mean that it's not aligned for you, okay? You have to trust your own intuition. You have to trust your own feelings about things. So guys, if there's something that you really, really need, if there's something that you really, really want, if there's something that your soul, okay, is asking for you to do, do not give up. Ooh, how inspirational. I love it. Do not give up. So continue to fight for it, okay? So I love that. So guys, this could be fighting for a relationship. This, again, if it feels aligned to you, you know, fighting for a relationship, fighting for your job, you have really difficult relationships with your family members. Continue persistence, even if you feel like you don't, you might feel like you don't have anything left in you, but this is saying if you really want it, you do, and you got to create it, So I like this. Some go-getter energy there. All right, what do we have issues with? Co-create. Okay, so this is interesting after that one, because this is basically saying, okay, this is the ability to work with others. This is the ability to co-create. Could also be linked to manifestation. So we're having issues with that. All right. I mean, I guess that makes sense coming from the persistence, where it's saying like, things might be difficult, but we're still pushing through. So the issue is working with someone, being in partnership with somebody. So very well could be that we're having issues with relationships with people, working with organizations. But like I said, coming off the persistence, it's saying continue to keep going forward, but it's not going to be easy. That's how I feel it to be. So not too conflicting actually. This could also be manifestation. So we're having issues manifesting things where we feel like maybe we are not getting what we want. Again, we're coming up against some obstacles here. It feels, things feel, I'm going to say this because I feel intuitively aligned to say this. It feels like I need to get this out. Is it like some of you guys feel like something might be impossible? Okay, so it feels a little bit on the major scale for some of you guys. You can do it. I promise that you can do it. So keep pushing through, keep persisting, working in tandem with someone else, an organization, could be like a co-worker, could be a client. Yeah, it feels difficult, guys. You can do it though. I know you can. All right, what else is challenging? Loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. Okay, so this is about being loyal to a cause, being polite. Maybe polite's not the word. Working with people, kind of, but not really. I think it's more so about being loyal to a cause. Knight also can represent like coming in and rescuing somebody. It's in the light. So this could be like issues with loyalty. God, I don't have a good example for this. But maybe you're supposed to be loyal with a company, or, maybe this has something to do with family members, like they want you to be on their side. And there's some challenge there where you can't be on their side, or you're not taking their side, or you kind of break from the norm, possibly. And you feel like you can't necessarily save somebody in that situation, if that makes sense, and they have to kind of save themselves. So there's something going on here. I do also want to say intuitively that I definitely feel some family stuff going on here. But loyalty could be anything. It could be loyal to a job, like I said, be in a one-on-one romantic relationship, it could be. But I definitely do feel like it might be like some family stuff going on where you kind of like break from what everybody else is going towards, basically. So you might have like a different opinion and everybody else has the same opinion, like something like that. So you're kind of like standing alone. This issue of like standing alone is coming through. So that might be challenging, and I definitely know what that's like because I'm the black sheep of my family. I'm the scapegoat. I've stood alone for a long time. So, okay, what is there to change? What is changing? Detachment. Okay, so being detached. Okay, so you might be, the way that I'm interpreting this is that you might actually, become a little bit more involved in something. You might be maybe taking steps towards something that's more committed. That could be it as well. Maybe you are like just feeling like you're detached, but also like kind of separate from something. or autonomous from something, and that's kind of changing, but I see it as like a positive thing, you know, like you're merging with something possibly. So it feels like you're more attached to something. So maybe you're, again, the word committed definitely comes up again. So I'm going to go with that. It feels more so that way, where you might just be like committing to a project, committing to a person, becoming more enmeshed in something. And again, it's not like a negative thing. Everything has a shadow and a light. This definitely feels like on the lighter end of things. It definitely feels like that's changing, like you're becoming more involved in something and attached with your relationships. I mean, the example I can give for me is like, I feel very detached, okay? The last thing that I beat myself up a lot about it, but I haven't been able to be as social as I've wanted to be in the last 5 years, just because I'm dealing with all of these things. It's hard for me to understand what people are saying sometimes because of my brain issues. It's very hard to be social. And so with that being said, it's very hard to be very close in my relationships. I've let some of my friendships, go to hell, basically, because hopefully they understand, but I've been kind of like going through stuff, and so I've had a level of detachment. And so how I would see this going from attachment would be like a little bit more involved in their lives, a little bit more present, like that kind of thing. So I see that, like I said, as a positive thing, and I see it for you guys as well. But yeah, that's my example there. But committing more, being more aware is maybe like another way to kind of say it. You're just becoming more, even I want to say like more tied down. Maybe you guys have been some of you guys out there have been renting for a long time, and now you just put money down on a place to buy, and now you're going to be homeowners. That is a kind of detach to attach. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. I think I explained that. If you guys have any questions, or how I like when you put your real life examples down below, let me know. All right, focus, soulmates. Okay, so your priority should be on those relationships that feel easy, that feel soulmates, feel like soulmates that you feel really connected to, so make them a priority. Very interesting. We've been getting a lot of messages up here about, attached, working with people, feeling kind of left out, committing to something, becoming more attached to something, and now we have soulmates in the focus. So, I mean, that makes sense, because it definitely feels like those last 3 cards up there, it feels like we're talking about relationships, okay? Different kinds of relationships. So focus and make a priority the ones that really light you up. Focus on your connections, the ones that you feel really connected to, make those a stronger bond, because it definitely feels like there's some rocky areas in other areas. So yeah, that makes sense why it's asking us to kind of like focus on, the people that pour into you, pour into them. That's basically what it's saying. All right, reflect. We need to reflect on athlete in the shadow, misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends, false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. Okay. Basically, I don't know why I read these, because they're not always literal in this way, but athlete is about going the distance, having lots of willpower, practicing, continuing to practice your craft. So I think it could, so it's under reflect, so it's making us think about that. Okay, it's thinking about, so the inverse of that, the shadow, would be like how we give up, how we don't go for the things that we want, how we don't, maybe our lack of willpower, our lack of discipline, like things like that. So I find it very interesting, looking back to the Midas Miser card, and obviously the persistence one, of, maybe this is about asking us, like, why do we give up? What are some times in our life that maybe we gave up on something that we really wanted? Maybe if you're having trouble being disciplined, maybe ask yourself and reflect on why that is, right? Why you procrastinate, like things like that. So that's very interesting coming off of these 2 cards up there. But yeah, I like that. That's a good slot to have that, because that will really make you think. Because if you really, really want something, what's the reason why you don't have it? You know what I mean? Obviously, it could be like a million things, like money, chronic illness, having to take care of a family member, you're working like crazy at your job. Like, there's obviously, like, I understand like all those reasons, but at the end of the day, it's kind of saying like, did you go the distance? Did you really try hard enough? Did you really go for it? Like that kind of thing. So, and if you didn't, why? So something is deeper than all of those things that I just mentioned. There might be something deeper there for you guys to explore. All right, responsibilities, adaptability. Okay, so be adaptable. We usually get cards like this that tell us to be flexible and adaptable in these changing times. Nothing different here. Just that's one of your responsibilities. So something changes this week, go with the flow, basically. Try to make it work. Money, finances, and career. We have mending, an interesting one to get here. So it's money, finances, and career, it really is. So maybe you're mending the fences with somebody. Guys, this is a big relationship week. Okay? Big relationship week. Especially with the focus here. Yeah, there's something going on with our relationships. So this is, it could be a relationship with actual money. Like, what is your, maybe you're healing the relationship with money. Maybe you feel, oh my God, money comes with so many traumas in itself. Maybe you grew up without a lot of money. You've got trauma from that, like that kind of thing. So yeah, it could be that. But I really do feel like it's like relationships. So you might be mending a relationship at work. You might be mending a relationship with a client. Maybe you're mending a relationship with an organization. Okay? So there's a lot of things going on here. And just remember what I said up there with those three. It could be like a mix of all of those, I do feel like positivity coming from this, like in a more positive way. So affecting you in a more positive way, meaning like you're, maybe you're mending that relationship with the client and, it brings in more money, in a more prosperous, business deal or whatever. So, I like that. And the mending is, like I said, definitely in a positive end. Maybe you are mending your relationship with your boss or your manager and it becomes more pleasant at work, something along those lines. So yeah, I like that there. It's a good placement to have. Surprise beggar. Dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. Oh my gosh, we get this card a lot. So obviously it's been a theme in our lives. Dependent on others to the exclusion of effort. Okay, so it's under surprise. So there's nothing wrong with the shadow one. If we need help, we need help. Maybe relying on somebody for something. It's in surprise, so it's basically saying we're not going to rely on somebody. Okay, so it's saying that maybe we're going to find freedom in something. Finally, yeah, I don't know what else to say with this. Maybe if your unemployment ends this week or something, and it's not like, I definitely feel like it's a more positive thing. So like maybe it's because you landed a job where you make more money, so you don't need it anymore. Okay, so it's even more money than unemployment was asking for. Maybe also too, maybe you are like, this could constitute this, like basically it's just saying like you're getting assistance from others. Like there's like, again, it's not a negative thing, it's just saying we're getting assistance from others. So maybe you are trying to schedule a surgery and your health insurance is not covering all of it, and you have enough money to cover it, or somebody comes through with enough, could be somebody else coming through with enough money to cover, the remaining of it. Maybe they owe it to you or something like that. Like your friend that owed you money finally decided to give you money. You pay it back, and then you can pay for the surgery. Okay, so it's not relying on them. It's like they're giving you what they owe you. That kind of thing. So you have surprise money that you can pay for it. Yourself. So. It's like a surprise independence, almost like a surprise. You're doing something independently. Doesn't actually have to be money. I gave 2 money examples, but it could be like maybe you need somebody to, maybe you're uncomfortable like eating by yourself at the mall or something like that, and you actually surprise yourself and do it this week. Something like that, like a surprise independence, a surprise oh my gosh, I did it on my own, you know, like kind of thing. Maybe you've been saving up for something for like a really long time and you actually buy it this week, you know. Maybe your parents have been supporting you and then you buy it with your own money this week or something. I don't know. Anyway, I think I gave enough examples, but yeah, I like that there. All right, what do we got under friends, guys? Sensuality. Oh, that's an interesting one to get for friends. All right, guys, I'm going to cut right to the chase with this. I think something romantically, I think we've had this in this place before, happens with somebody in your friend group or somebody that you view as a friend, or somebody maybe friend zoned you and something happens. Maybe your friends get together and you guys get in touch with their sensuality and do a photo shoot. I don't know, I'm just like throwing that out there. Maybe you have a deep conversation with a friend about your sensuality and your, I don't know what I can say here on YouTube. Can I say sexuality? Can I say that? Hopefully this doesn't get flagged, but yeah. And have a conversation about that with a friend that you trust or something like that. But like I said earlier, it definitely could be the lines are getting crossed between friends and lovers. So that could definitely be it for sure. Yeah, you guys can use your imagination for that. If you're brave enough, let me know down below. That's all I'll say there. All right, romantic connection. Why? Okay, so this is why a romantic connection? No, it's basically asking us to ask questions, becoming a little bit more aware in our relationship. So it's under romantic connection. So basically it's saying we need to ask ourselves maybe, you know, why we do the things in our relationships, you know, just becoming more aware. Maybe you're becoming more aware of the patterns within your relationship or the things that maybe trigger you the most. So we're definitely becoming a little bit more conscious, a little bit more aware of our relationship, why we're in it, the person that you're attracted to, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah, so people that are single, you could be thinking about that kind of stuff. Like ask yourself, who am I attracted to? Why am I attracted to that? What kind of partner am I looking for? Yeah, so this is about asking those questions. What's important? Teacher in the shadow, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. Ooh, okay. Ooh, that was loud. It's important not to do that, okay? I don't think anybody's abusing anybody, but it's basically saying like it's important to give people the information that they need to survive, give people accurate information, don't spread misinformation, could definitely be part of this. Don't listen to misinformation. So this is definitely, I know we don't have any detective, we don't have the detective archetype here, but it definitely feels like, double check everything, guys. Everybody gets fooled by AI. Even if you feel like you're somebody that doesn't, you do. You have probably. I am somebody that really, really tries to check my information, and even I've gotten fooled like a few times. So be careful out there. So yeah, this is about like spreading information that is true, spreading information that that is helpful. It's under importance, so maybe this could be like, if you can't be helpful, don't say anything at all. That could be part of this energy for sure. Yeah, just watch any misinformation. If you don't, this could also be like, if you don't understand something and you don't, you're not, you don't have to be expert level, but if you don't know what you're talking about, maybe butt out, that's important. Information that we need to know. That could be part of the shadow of the teacher. So yeah, all of those things could definitely count. All right, health and wellness. We have imagination. So saying use your imagination when it comes to health and wellness. Okay, so this is kind of like, thinking about the future when it comes to your health and wellness. Could be anything along the lines of, what diet you want to start, if you want to start going to therapy, those kinds of things. This is imagination, so this might not, you might be thinking about going to therapy. Maybe you don't make your first appointment this week or anything, but it's in your imagination and you can imagine things. You can, planning, like it's almost like a planning for the future, which is great for health and wellness. I'm taking this as, hopefully I can start, Guys, I take every day by day, okay? Because I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow, the next day, whatever, next week. So I hope this is an indication that I can maybe start planning stuff, you know. Who knows? All right, overall outcome, all that glitters. Okay, so a nice message to end the week, and it's basically saying the grass isn't always greener, all that glitters isn't always gold. So it's definitely kind of like a card of like gratitude or being grateful for what you have. You know, we all get jealous, we all get envious from time to time. Keep that in check for sure. You know, maybe what we thought we wanted, you know, maybe we have revelations around what we thought we wanted is what we wanted, but now we can see why it happened the way it happened. Very profound stuff going on. So yeah, it could be that as well. But guys, I like this week. I think it's a mixed bag. Definitely relationships come front and center. I don't know if that's like a positive or negative for people, but pretty neutral. But I like the first one as well. That energy came out strong about us needing to, you know, get more money, make more money, use our skills, use our talents, go in an entrepreneurial direction. So we didn't get any other cards that maybe like pointed to that, but this is basically saying our soul is really, you know, aching, calling for that. So maybe in the next reading, next week, we'll see some more of that. But yeah, I like this week, guys. I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.